Hey, you guys.
Hi, Soul family. How are you guys doing? Are you guys surprised? We don't usually go live at this time, and today we are live. And we have such a fun update for you guys. How are you all doing? Who is here? Let us know. Say hello in the chat.
And how's the eclipse been for you guys? Has it been intense? Has it been like, I don't even know what happened?
We actually made a poll. We had a poll yesterday on our social media. Hi, guys. And you know what? We asked three questions. We said, are you feeling activated as fuck? Are you feeling like you're an emotional roller coaster? Or are you feeling completely out of alignment? And you know what? The results were very interesting. 45% of the people said they were activated as fuck. 40% said they were emotional, like complete emotional roller coasters, a lot of heavy emotions and processing coming up. And then 15% or so said completely out of alignment. How interesting is that? Which bracket do you guys fall under? Do one of those
Let's read some of the comments.
even resonate?
Positive body and soul. Okay. It's been intense in a good way. Jojo B says that. Let us know how everyone else is
I've
doing.
been cycling the first two.
First two chakras.
You know what, guys? We even went to an ecstatic dance here in Tulum recently. And this is what we find even in the collective. It is such a split. Like these are people we see, regularly in the community here. And it literally felt like post solstice, we saw a different field. It literally, people were crying. There was more emotions.
It was very visible how people were processing these energies, and everyone is going through something. We felt a lot of forward momentum in our personal life, and we also felt like extremely intense. Like there were days that we were like working so fast. Like we're working on 5 major projects right now that we mentioned earlier, but we found that because of the eclipse energy and all this forward momentum, it made us work so fast and we were getting a lot done, but then it was very ungrounding as well. So it was a blessing and a curse in disguise. And we were like, today we'll make the YouTube video. Tomorrow we're taking a day off and we're preparing for our mushroom retreat, which is coming up, our plant medicine retreat. It's coming up. We're leaving on this Friday to Bacalar, and really looking forward to that. That's going to be one of it is our first international plant medicine retreat, and we used to do these in Toronto, and they're just life-changing, guys. They're just breakthroughs after breakthroughs.
We cannot wait.
People who've been to our sober retreats, they feel shifts for months and months, right? And they're like mind blown. So when we add medicine, the wisdom and power of medicines to the mix, it's going to be next level.
Yes. So we felt very inspired to come and make this video about the post-solar eclipse update. Everybody, like there's even the world is very split. Some people are like, what the big deal is this solar eclipse about? Why is everybody talking about it? Like nefarious activities are being linked to it. Ascension is being linked to it. Like what exactly is going on? And so we have an update for you guys that we thought was so interesting that we wanted to come share with you guys, because we asked our guides, we asked the Sirius B Feline Collective, the Royal Guard, who, many of you know, we work with them. They are 6th dimensional Christ consciousness beings, and they're a feline collective. And they are the guardians and the architects of the Ascension. So they've been very closely working with us for 2 or 3 years as some of our main guides. And they are also Merkaba technicians. And Saman and I work very much so with the Merkaba. For those of you who are new to our vortex, we are Ascension master teachers. We are quantum Metatronic healers. We are shamans. We bring in a lot of the galactic knowledge. And what I truly, truly, truly have been shown over the years is that our main mission is to be one of the way showers into 5D New Earth. And we do that. And a lot of that is going to be covered in today's video. So it's very timely. We do that by accessing what we call the 5th dimensional operating system that very few people, a very, very, very small minority of less than 0.01%, just for it's a real minority, at least the one that we're aware of, has access to this operating system. And part of our divine mission and part of our highest passion is to share this 5D operating system with humanity. And that's what we do through our transmissions on YouTube, Instagram, and more so when you guys meet us physically. You guys get these upgrades just by being around us, because the way Ascension works And Yeshua, Jesus Christ, is the best example for this. What Jesus did was that he built a Christ consciousness grid around Earth that has a higher frequency than the Earth that we see around us. So, what we do is that we access the fifth dimensional frequency of that grid by activating it within us. And so we are teachers of the 5D. We are teachers of the fifth dimensional operating system. And this all you'll see why and how this is so exciting as we get into the upgrade. But before we move on, I just wanted to also say, when Saman was saying we've been working so hard, it's such a paradox, because the truth is we're not working as hard as we used to work in our 3D days. We're working half that amount now. But even that half that amount, this 5D operating system demands a certain discipline, a certain mastery, that it can very easily throw you off. And so it's not like we're working like donkeys, completely unconscious. We're extremely masterful in our energy. We work out, we start with sun meditation, we do sun breathing, we do quantum healing on ourselves. We're very particular about how we live our life. And yet, if we push our body even that slightest bit too much, it says no, because in the 5D operating system, you have to stay in balance. And let us tie this whole teaching into a beautiful, like, we got such a beautiful download, and our intention today is to give you and share that download with you, because it really makes sense when you think of what is going on, why the eclipse was such a big deal, and what happened behind the scenes, and how it is affecting planet Earth and all of us.
Yeah, and like Eldora mentioned, we were going through a lot of upgrades in this past eclipse, and I wanted to start with the astrological update of what we felt was happening. Melissa White actually just commented, and I really resonate with that. I'll read that out. I feel like a huge veil has been lifted. I understand so many things that I have always wondered about. That's exactly how we're feeling. We're feeling like a huge veil has been lifted off planet Earth. And eclipses are all about the reboot. It's about the sun's energy being blocked out for a few moments. So the sun's energy reflects our consciousness, our higher self, and our soul energy. And what the eclipse does is it blocks out the light for a few moments and then resets the light. So there's a period of darkness where we forget who we are in those few moments. On a consciousness level, we are completely disconnected from all that is. But then when the light comes on, so does a higher awareness. It's like an operating system reboot, like we mentioned in our previous videos. So since after the eclipse, the main thing we've been feeling is a lot more clarity, a lot more of our gifts and abilities coming online. It's been feeling like total forward momentum, even though Mercury's in retrograde right now until I think April 20th or 25th, somewhere thereabouts, Mercury retrograde ends. And retrogrades are all about pulling back the energy, like things slowing down or things sometimes going awry and not going as planned. But this Mercury retrograde is actually affecting us differently because we're no longer on a descension timeline. Mercury retrogrades would only affect you negatively if you were not in alignment with your higher self. But Eldora and I, we've been amping up our discipline in our lives to such a high degree that we're literally training like athletes for this ascension right now. We're hitting the gym regularly. We're hitting yoga regularly. We're having our superfoods almost on a daily basis. We gave up coffee, and now we're having like reishi mushrooms and almond milk. Like we're really like, and like she mentioned earlier, that we're not driving ourselves crazy with work.
Yes.
We're balancing all of our needs at the same time. So when you're on this ascension timeline, and when we're doing this to train ourselves to align with the highest timeline that's possible,
Yes.
because that is our service. Eldora and I and many light workers who are drawn to our vortex are the serious ones. We're the ones who came to spearhead this ascension and do it by volunteering ourselves to embody this mastery. And by embody this mastery and aligning and activating your 12 galactic chakras, you become aware of so much more of who you are. And we're getting this higher level conscious awareness of who we are. And it's very powerful. It's actually guiding our life at such a subtle level that we've never noticed these frequencies before. And one of the main upgrades that this eclipse gave us, which we'll go into a little bit more detail. This is information we downloaded from the White Wing Feline Collective of Sirius B, is that they sent us this higher Hertz frequency that is more subtle, but those who are able to attune to these frequencies because they've purified their mind, body, soul, and emotion, those people can now begin to operate within a 5D operating system on Earth. And we're witnesses of this. Not everyone can say that. Like some people, everyone's going there, but not everyone's there yet. So if you're there, you'll know it. I don't even have to tell you. People who are there, they'll just know it because they're feeling it in every aspect of their life, and things will be coming in more focus, more alignment, more drive, more, and the guidance becomes very, very, very subtle, and it's a very fine frequency, and you begin to attune to your higher self a lot more than before. Now, astrologically speaking, the theme of this eclipse this eclipse took place on the new moon. And the new moon was in Aries. So Aries is all about forward momentum. So astrologically speaking, what we are being shown is that after April 20th, it's all going to be forward momentum. So right now, there may be a period of trial or testing things out or planning what's ahead. But from April 20th, you're going to start seeing that whatever projects, whatever things you have put in motion, the stars are aligned to start assisting you. Doors will start opening, contracts will get signed, opportunities will open up, and new things will show up at your doorstep. But there's a flip side to the equation astrologically as well. This eclipse took place on the Aries and Libra axis. And the theme around Aries and Libra is war and peace, because Mars comes into play as well on the Aries-Libra axis. So the cabal, or the dark ones, who are literally doing the best they can to create a distraction for humanity so that we're not allowed to focus on the ascension. They create distractions by creating war, and they're creating fear-based events. So like we heard about the news of Iran attacking Israel, that happened literally a day or two after the eclipse, or if not on the eclipse. So they're constantly going to try to push this war agenda into the mainstream consciousness. And the main reason for that is to draw your awareness away from your own well-being, from your own ascension, and draw it towards something fear-based, so that your consciousness is stuck on all these fear-based things. So now that the light's coming back, focus on the light, focus on your own visions, and do not focus on other higher forces that are here to distract you. Yeah.
So for those of you who just joined, we were talking in the beginning about how we asked our audience what percentage or what bracket they fall under, and 45% said they're activated as fuck. 40% said they're going through an emotional roller coaster of processing a lot of heavy emotions. And 15% said we're completely out of alignment. And we received a few downloads that we want to share today. And it's a post-eclipse download sharing kind of YouTube video. The first thing that they said was, no matter what bracket you fall under, they said you are moving forward. And I really want you to absorb that. Even in our vortex, we saw, in our own team, we saw some members from our team going up an octave, working hard, working better, working smarter, working multidimensionally, and getting activated and stepping more in their body. And then we saw other people who were let go and they had to go back home, and there was a complete change in direction. But the guides are saying no one timeline is better than the other. They're both moving forward in their soul's evolution. So I really want you to absorb that. No matter if you're out of alignment, the eclipse is showing you that you are out of alignment. And that is you moving forward with this knowledge, with this information that, shit, I'm out of alignment. What do I need to do? If you are going through an emotional roller coaster, this is the eclipse showing you where there's a lot of emotions that are taking you up and down, because ultimately the higher self mergers phase happens when the emotional field is more calm. So congratulate yourself that you're going through this emotional roller coaster, because you're on your way to that stability you seek. And if you're feeling activated as fuck, you're moving forward, of course, because you're, for whatever reason, you're in that bracket. So they wanted to congratulate everybody that we're all moving forward this eclipse. It's like, and the way we were shown, guys, is that it's a new era. It's not a new timeline. It's the eclipse is not just a new timeline. They said it's a new era. It's a new consciousness jump that is so tangible that they said they alluded back to the train track analogy, which we'll get into later, where there's these 4 trains departing on planet Earth, and right now these 4 timelines, these 4 trains are parallel. They're going parallel. However, as time moves, as time passes, these trains tracks are slowly going to start moving away from each other, and eventually they're going to separate, and the frequency difference between them will get so apart that they won't be parallel anymore. And this is really what we're being shown about the timelines on planet Earth that are splitting between the ascending timelines to 5D New Earth and the descending timelines. Now, one very interesting download, Saman, if you want to get into it, was what we received was from the Sirius collective, this feline collective that are one of our primary guides and mentors, called the Royal Guard of Sirius B. And they're these feline lion beings, Christ consciousness, 6-dimensional beings that we speak to. And now they're coming back into our awareness very tangibly for the last month or so. 2 years ago, they were very much in our energy, and then they took a break, and now they've come back. And they gave us an amazing download with what is happening and how that is affecting the planet. You want to talk to them about that?
Yeah, for sure.
The sun, Merkaba?
So I'm feeling called to draw a quick diagram for this.
So as he does that, I can explain a little bit. I can start kind of explaining. Or you guys may want to wait for the drawing. Because what they said was this: everything that has happened through this solstice, and they're giving us the keys that they're asking us to share with you on how to use this portal to jump and navigate very quickly rather than get stuck. So it's almost like we're giving you the cheat sheet of what happened behind the scenes.
Yeah. So I just drew this diagram very quickly. Please don't mind my drawing. But this is what the Sirius B Feline Collective wanted us to see. This is the DNA spiral of the human being, and the way the DNA is affected from the sun. Let's say this is the sun, and the sun is sending us codes. The codes are affecting our DNA in different ways, depending on which timeline you are on. If you're on an unconscious timeline where you're living life unconsciously, you're eating toxic foods, you're not drinking clean water, you're not taking care of your health, you're not aware of the bigger issues that are going on in this planet, then the sun's codes are still going to be bringing your shit up. They may be bringing more intensity up in your life, but you're not going to be moving forward. You're going to feel stuck because you're not making any changes. Mm. So in order to experience the changes, there's a regenerative DNA timeline, which is going towards 5D. And there's a degenerative DNA timeline, which is going towards 3D. And this is what we basically mean by the DNA split. The DNA split is the timeline split. So what's happening is we're still one human race, but we're literally turning into 2 different species, okay? This is as real as I can put it. We're literally becoming 2 different species, and it's gonna become more and more obvious as time goes by. The people who are on the 5D regenerative timeline are the ones who are activating their DNA. They're taking care of their health. They're taking all the superfoods, detoxifying their body. And because our people like us, our DNA is clear, our chakras are clear, our cells are able to absorb more of the sunlight and more of these upgrades, and we're eating clean vegan food, and we've let go of toxic stuff like chicken, beef, meat, and all these heavy things, dairy, sugars, and fried stuff, and canned and processed stuff, and all these GMO as much as you can avoid it.
Soy sauce, Tabasco sauce,
yeah, anything
ketchup.
All these preservative and chemical-rich foods are designed to make your body heavy, and they're designed to block you from absorbing the sun's energy. But when you go on this cleansing path, which we've been on for the last couple of years, now we're beginning to reap the benefits. So it's still not too late to join this train. You can really amp up your cleansing and detoxing of your body. But when you do, you're going to begin to experience the earth reality in a completely new light. And what the White Wing Feline Collective of Sirius B told us is that they sent one of their Markaba ships. They have what is called a Markaba ship. Okay, a Markaba is a six-pointed star. It's like a three-dimensional six-pointed star, and it spins at the speed of light. So they have ships that are shaped like a Markaba, and these white-winged feline collective beings are six-dimensional in nature, which means they can amp up their vibration and go so high in their frequency that they become invisible to the third dimension. So when they're in their six-dimensional frequency in their ships, they can actually park their ship in the middle of the sun and not get burned by it because they're in a higher octave of reality. So this is how their technology works. They sent this Markaba ship right before the eclipse into the core of our sun, and they activated a 777 hertz frequency from the center of the sun to come to Earth during the time of the eclipse. And when the sun was being blocked out, they sent that pulse, and as soon as the moon got out of the way, the pulse hit Earth, and it hurt that 777 hertz frequency hit the core of Amenti inside of Earth. So what is the core of Amenti? The core of Amenti is a multi-dimensional sphere that was installed approximately 25,000 years ago in the core of our Earth. And long story short, we've made a video about this. You can watch it on YouTube. It's called The Secrets of the Halls of Amenti, where we describe the core of Amenti technology in more detail. But briefly, what the core of Amenti allows us to do is, without that, Earth could not ascend. So the core of Amenti is basically a spherical technology in the center of our planet that connects our planet to the higher dimensions and thereby gives humanity a road to ascension. So what the Feline Collective did during this eclipse was they sent a 777 hertz angelic frequency into the core of Amenti, and they said that it was successfully installed, and it's now going into all the grids of Gaia. And the primary purpose of this 777 hertz frequency was to shift the vibration of our operating system or collective consciousness to a higher level that has never been available to humanity before. And Eldora and I have started experiencing this. Some people that some of our friends who are very serious about their ascension, they're also beginning to feel these changes. And maybe you can describe more about what this operating system is and how do you detect it?
And you know what I find really fascinating is how these higher dimensional beings are so involved with our ascension. And here we're sitting on Earth thinking, oh, it's a solar eclipse, and we're looking at the news, and we're somewhat cut off, from the totality, the grandeur of what's happening behind the scenes. Ultimately, it's all about our ascension. Planets ascend, and planets follow a specific cycle in their it's a cycle, it's an evolutionary cycle, and Earth is ascending. So no matter what the narrative is on Earth, there's a bigger narrative coming in, and these beautiful beings are reminding us that this pulse that they sent, these energies that they sent, that they powered up with their Merkaba ship, has really given the core of Amenti the codes that are now going to be transmitted into the light workers, the first awakening ones. And they also gave us some percentages. They said there's only 5%, they're saying, at most
5% of the awakened population.
They're saying there's only 5% of the awakened population that are really tuned into their ascension. And many of you watching are part of it, because we are the ascension junkies and we attract the ascension junkies. So if you're an ascension junkie, it's like a very mutually beneficial relationship, because that's really what our vortex is all about. We're the ascension teachers that really can move fast, because we move very, very fast. And this is like a supercharged vortex. So what they're saying is that only 5% of the awakening population are ascending, are aligned to their ascension. The others, they're all awakening, but there's like a mental awakening going on. There's all kinds of awakening of, let's find out what the dark forces are doing. There's different levels of awakening. And that's a good thing.
What she means
However,
is 5% are the really astute students of the Ascension who are making changes in their life and
yes,
moving forward in changing
yes.
timelines.
And to give you a real
But most
example
of
of
the
what that
awakened
is,
population isn't there yet. They're
yes,
absorbing information, and this is all natural. There's no rushing this Ascension. But most people are in the stage of absorbing information, but they're not there yet to make tangible changes in their life.
right. And so, guys, before I give you the download of what they said will help you with the keys, just a real quick, since Saman elaborated on it, being an Ascension junkie really means you are full on doing your trauma healing. You are activating your psychic gifts. You are fully looking at where is my ego out of alignment? Where am I triggered and projecting blame on other people? Where am I in expectation? Where am I in lack? And to go deeper, let's talk about what they said to us. They said that this pulse that's coming in from the sun has given Earth, the core of a mentee, these upgrades. And now this upgrade is going to show up in your life as a 5D operating system. Now, there's a few prerequisites to be able to access this operating system. Saman and I have been accessing this operating system very tangibly in our daily lives for at least 2 or 3 years, very tangibly. In fact, our whole life is founded on this 5D operating system. So basically, it will start to come online in many of you, and we're giving you the cheat sheet of how to navigate this, because this 5D operating system, it not only works on frequency, but it also works on subtle ego mastery lessons. For example, you need to have activated your 12 chakras. We don't need to spend a lot of time about that right now, but what that means in a nutshell is that it's not like you're just understanding what your basic chakras are, but you're not aware of your multidimensionality, that there's galactic chakras above your crown chakra, and there's deeper chakras below your root chakra, that's the earth star chakra, the soul star chakra, and then there's the galactic gateway chakra. There's a lot going on. And so if you're aware of your multidimensionality, if you have past life recollections, or even just a knowing that, oh my God, I was in ancient Egypt, I was in Atlantis, I was in Lemuria, and there's something big happening right now, and this is part of something huge. This is when you start accessing this operating system. If you're not as awake or aware to even know that, then this operating system is invisible to you.
I wanted to quickly rephrase that. So one of the prerequisites for accessing this 5D operating system that's now coming online is that you must be working with your 12 chakra system, which is higher than your 7 chakra system. So the 12 chakra system includes your galactic gateway, your earth star, your soul star, and a few other chakras, which we've explained in our courses as well. And when you activate your 12 chakra system, you become somewhat aware of your multidimensionality. You feel on a moment by moment basis, you don't feel like you're trapped on earth and physical senses are all there is. You're perceiving reality from a higher perspective. And you also begin to become aware of your past lives, your ancient lives, or you may get memory flashbacks from some life and you don't know what that is, but you do know that you're not just this human being in this body, in this personality. You have multiple incarnations, and you begin to draw on this information and bring it into your life.
Another thing they said was that one of the biggest ways that humanity is going to be blocked from this operating system is through fear. So what the cabal is doing is they are very cleverly, even like the Bitcoin, you guys know that ever since the eclipse, ever since the war, all of this stuff is happening. Bitcoin went down 5 grand or whatever. But the way we look at it, so the way, this is also another download we got, that new earth currencies are coming online. So cash might be becoming obsolete, and so there might be like an economic crash. But in that crash, what they're saying is a lot of new opportunities are birthing. Really, this is the birthing of new earth. And what they're saying is that the cabal is going to try their best to crash the economy for multiple reasons, but one of the biggest reason is to put humanity in so much fear. And that is why point number 1 was so important, that you have to be aware of your 12 chakras. You have to be aware of your multidimensionality so that you don't get scared when the matrix tries to keep you in its trap. You need to at least have that awareness saying, okay, I'm a galactic being. I'm an eternal being. All these scare talk tactics of CERN and these rockets and all this, it's all fear mongering. Whether the economy crashes or not, I just need to know how to empower myself. I just need to know how to Even if I have $1,000, if I know that and this is something that we are doing, even if I have $1,000, I don't need to think like I'm a hopeless victim. I can invest those $1,000 in a new earth currency, which is going up. It could be gold, it could be silver, it could be land, it could be, if you have just $1,000, it could be a bunch of crypto. We are not crypto advisors, but
We're not financial advisors.
we're not advisors, but that's what we're doing. We're diversifying.
We're just sharing what we're doing.
So diversifying is something that's coming up strongly because one economy is crashing, but other economies are going to start booming. So what they're saying is they will pump fear through things like the economic crash, through things like the war. But what's very important for you to access this 5D frequency is that you don't fall into the fear, but instead you empower yourself and say, what do I need to do?
Yeah, and I just wanted to expand on that. The wars that are being created right now and all the fear that's being pumped right now, it's all a distraction to when fear and instability is in the media, the price of commodities goes down, the price of cryptos goes down because investors start pulling out their money. So temporarily, the biggest thing that's happening in the world right now, everything else is a distraction. The biggest thing that's happening in the world right now is a global transfer of wealth. And very few people are truly aware of the nature of this. Okay. I don't want to go into all the details because this is a huge topic. We'll make a specific video about the global shift in power. But the synopsis is that the cabal own corporations that are like the head corporations that own everything. So these head corporations, one of them being BlackRock, they own funds worth trillions of dollars. I think BlackRock is worth $10 trillion. And most of their money is from real estate and other funds. So what they're beginning to do is, because the cabal know that their matrix financial slavery system or the banking system, the fiat banking system is going to fail. It was designed to fail. We made a video on this as well. Now, they're not going to sit with their bank, with all their money in these banks that are failing. The cabal are actively putting all of their money into crypto, okay? They've temporarily pulled money out of crypto to scare the normal investor. Like in people who don't know much about investing and they're just putting like $1,000 or $50,000 even into crypto. Suddenly the cabal are creating a glitch in the crypto market by forcefully selling a lot of crypto, making the price drop artificially. So to scare the average investor to pull out their money. And when the average investors out of fear pull out their money out of crypto, they're going to buy crypto in tons. Like they're going to place all their bets in crypto, but they're trying to artificially lower the price. So this global wealth transfer, this is the biggest thing that's happening in the world right now. This is what we need to be aware of. And people who are not financially savvy, like people who don't know how to invest in crypto, people who just have money in their bank account or they don't have any savings at all, these are the people that are being targeted, unfortunately. So right now, it's not just about spirituality. It's not just about like activating your chakras. All that is fine, but we have to make certain moves in the real world in order to protect our savings and investments and to make sure we have a stake in the future. So right now is the time to really get savvy about finances, about how to invest your money and how to create savings for the future. And it's very important not to leave your money in the banks because the way the economy is going, the banks, it's just a matter of time before the banks are set up to fail. And there literally could be one day soon. It's just a matter of time where you may not be able to withdraw money from the bank. So you need to have a backup plan. And for that, we can say that crypto markets are going to be the future. And if you don't have any stake in crypto, then you might find yourself backed up against a corner.
And this is, again, we're not financial advisors. We are telling you what we're doing and what we you have to do your own research. You have to check in with your own guidance. But yeah, I really feel like this is all very exciting stuff, guys. We're moving towards a completely new age, and you just have to prepare yourself. So a few tips. We'll make another video about that. We weren't planning to talk about that at all, but I'm kind of glad you did, in case anyone here, got the breakthrough they needed for that, because that's really what's happening. So a few things that they're reminding us, or these are like messages for you guys to navigate these times easily. There are some initiations coming up, because these initiations are coming into this operating system. So basically, for you to start accessing this higher 5D operating system, you have to pass through certain initiations. One is a very major one in the collective right now, is the initiation of letting go of control. And letting go of control. And when I say that, it is control of everything. I made an Instagram video the other day. I haven't posted it yet, but I lost my $25,000 diamond bracelet that I had bought 15 years ago. And it was a very expensive, I had just left it in the safe for all these years. And when I moved houses, it was nowhere to be found. It wasn't in the safe. It wasn't anywhere. And I spent no more than 5 minutes in a little bit of, where's my bracelet? And I let it go immediately, because Siman and I have been living in this 5D operating system where we realized that if that diamond bracelet chose to leave me at this time, it just means my soul contract with it is over. And that stones and crystals and diamonds and money and opportunities and relationships, they find you based on your vibration. They find you. And Siman and I are living in this operating system where everything happens for our good. So we just let that go right away. Now, imagine if I wasn't like that. If I was in control, like, how dare I lost my diamond bracelet, or who stole it, or what did I do wrong? Like self-blame, self-guilt, or anger, or projection, or like going crazy. That makes this 5D operating system very hard to reach.
Impossible to reach.
Impossible to reach. You have to be in a certain state of flow. Now, I'll give you one other example. So letting go of control is a big one. Just letting go of control of how your partner behaves, whether he takes the vaccine. Like, it's almost like just completely becoming awareness and letting go of any kind of holding or control, because that's creating a blockage in this energy. 5D is very flowy. You know who you are, you know your boundaries, but it's very, very flowy. Now, one other thing that's coming up is another initiation that humanity is going through is letting go of attachments. And here's another example. So I went for a haircut last week, and my hairdresser was a little bit in shock. I said, how are you doing? How's everything going? And she's like, oh my God, horrible. Things are not going well at all. She says, a few weeks ago, I live in the in the forest area of Tulum. And somebody just came into my house, and I had $5,000 of the salon owner and another $5,000 of mine. And it was stolen. And she kept saying, thank God my family is okay. Thank God my family is okay. And I immediately got a download saying, what do you think the spiritual reason was for you to lose your money? And she's not even that much into spirituality, but she got it. She looked at me with a lot of interest. And I said, what if you were so attached to money that the energy is showing you that when you lost the $10,000, which in your reality is such a big freaking deal, your family is safe. Your job is safe. You still have food to eat. Nothing happened. And I said, maybe you're too attached to money, and that's why this was shown to you. And she's like, that makes so much sense. And instantly she went from this sorry, defeated, traumatized state to, I feel much better already. My whole outlook on life has changed. And for those of you who are going through trauma like this, it's very shocking for us to have. Siman and I have been through the ringer. Like, we've been through all these initiations of like extreme, like people cheating you of your money, friends or soul family stabbing you in the back. Like, we've been through all of it, being called false light. We've been through everything, all the initiations of mastery. So we can tell you that when any of this stuff happens, trauma is very real. It lodges onto your cells, and all you have to do is feel your trauma. So instead of going more into this, how did I lose the money? How did I lose the money? What do I do? I'm feeling horrible and lowering in vibration. This new operating system is asking you or demanding of you mastery, where you say, what do I need to do to heal myself from this trauma? Because boom, when you do that, you've just accessed self-love and self-care because you're not putting your body under extreme shock and stress to cry about the $10,000 that was never meant to be yours, because if that was meant to be yours, it would never be stolen from you. So letting go of control, letting go of attachments. Another code I'm going to give you is to start discerning and navigating Earth from a heart-based frequency it's based on frequency, and it's connected to your heart. Let me give you an example. We have a Honda Pilot, which is really not a vehicle of our choice, because when we were in Canada, we'd only drive German cars, Mercedes, Audis, whatever, BMWs. So here we have a cute little Honda Pilot. Why do we have a Honda Pilot and not a Suburban, for example? There's some beautiful Suburbans here in town, right? Because that's like the fancy car in Tulum, huge, big ass American Suburbans. Recently, somebody in our team said to me, oh my God, I have this amazing friend who's renting out a Suburban. It's sexy. It's got black, tinted windows, and it's upgraded. It has leather seats. It's red. It looks amazing. And it's only $400 more. He'll give you a really good rate. It's only $400 more a month compared to your Honda Pilot. And immediately, you know what our guidance was? Who wants to drive around in a car? Like, look at the discernment. The logic, the ego-based logic will say, and this is very important for you, I'm giving you guys the navigation operating system of this 5D operating system. So the ego-based system of 3D would be like, oh, I want a Suburban, I want a red car, I want to look like, ooh, I'm like, I want to drive in this fancy schmancy car that looks so good, and it's only $400 more a month. Like, that car is worth a lot more than a Honda Pilot. But instead, we said, who wants a red cop magnet? Who wants a red mafia-looking car that, let's say we're like humble light workers. We don't want the cops to catch us every few minutes. So it's like a discerning. So this operating system is asking you to discern, not from your logical mind, but from your higher operating system that discerns frequency. You're not trying to put all the spotlight on you. You just want to be nimble, light and nimble. Guys, light and nimble is the name of the game right now. So it's like you just have to be able to navigate life in a very, very unique way.
And another aspect of this operating system that's coming online is that all your choices are downhill, okay? So when you're fully aligned, you'll know you're aligned when life just becomes easier and easier. And whatever you're looking for is downstream. If you find yourself solving some problem, but it seems challenging, it's going to be, you're going against the operating system.
Yes.
So always know that whenever you're choosing the easier option, although it may not agree with your logical mind, but the easier option is always going to lead you in synchronization with this operating system.
Yes.
And that applies to all aspects of your life. Like, yes, sometimes I feel like my car's AC is not working right now. And I feel anytime I go to get it fixed, I feel challenges, and I just surrender to it. And I'm like, when it's the right time, I'm going to get it fixed and it's going to be fine. So in the past, I would like stress myself out over these things and like really throw off other things, throw off course other aspects of my life because of these things. But with this operating system, it's like you just go with the flow, and the universe kind of like navigates for you, and it just presents opportunities, people, things, events at exactly the right time, yes, when you need them, and everything seems to align in the, yes, end.
And there's no stress in this operating system. In the beginning, it'll feel very intimidating, like, how can I trust? So I'll give you a real example again. We're hosting a mushroom medicine retreat in less than a week. Like, we leave this Friday to the retreat center, and that's when everyone arrives, and our retreat starts this Saturday. Until last week, we had not received the medicine. So to host a medicine ceremony, we need to have kick-ass, like the best of the best ceremonial mushrooms, right? We had no mushrooms as of last week because we asked 5 people that we know. One gave us something, it was okay quality, like it just wasn't aligning. We were like, it's fine. The medicine has to come to us. It has to connect with us. So we decided to do a mushroom ceremony, the 2 of us, last week. We used some of the mushrooms we had got from another guy. It's not ceremonial grade though. And we set a container and we set intention. So this is another code I'm giving you guys. With this operating system, you don't do as much work. It's not physical labor. Like, you're not working in the earth plane. You're not doing your 3D, like hard work to get the mushrooms. You're working in the higher planes. So what we did was Simran and I did a mushroom ceremony, just the two of us, last week. And we set intentions. We said, oh, we're now opening up the container. We set up a 12D pillar. We connected with the ancestors of the land. We connected, we remote projected literally to the retreat center. We created this 12D pillar, and we said, these are our intentions. We need the best, most respectfully grown mushrooms. We want it to be such clean energy and very, very high ceremonial grade. Guys, I kid you not. This is true. How our life works is true. It's a true story. The next morning at 9 a.m., we manifested. Just a friend's friend sent us a message saying, oh, by the way, 3 weeks ago, you sent a text about this mushroom. I'm so sorry, I didn't check my text or whatever. And there's this lady and she's the best. And so we immediately tried to, within 2 days, we did half a dose, and it was like the best of the best of the best of the best, coated in cacao with cardamom. Like, my mouth's watering. It's that tasty. The universe delivers things to you, but did we stress? Now, if we had stressed, what would we have done? We would have ordered the old mushrooms, which were not as good. We would have ordered that because we're like, it's 1 week away. It's 1 week away. No, in this operating system, trust is so important.
Yeah, you fully surrender.
You just surrender.
Like a leaf in the river.
Yes.
And Soul Codes with Sophia Ra asked a very important question that I wanted to read out loud and then explain. Can you guys explain further on the easier option? It seems like it'll be easier to move into the comfort zone. So how do you discern between the comfort zone and the easier option? That's such a good question. And thank you for asking that.
Thank you for who asked this.
And Jay also
I
said
love
right
that
after that, it's
question.
hard to wrap my head around going with the flow because as a man, we're programmed that we need to go through adversity and challenges to make us stronger. So yes, let's address this. So first of all, how do you discern between going with the flow and just getting in your comfort zone? Because let's say if I'm lying on the couch and I'm feeling lazy and I'm deciding, hey, should I go to the gym or not? How do I decide if my ego resistance is showing up and saying, no, don't go to the gym? Downhill would be just to stay at home.
And you're an expert at that.
Exactly.
He is an expert at this.
I'll give you the key. I'll give you the key code to this operating system. It's always downhill unless it's good for you. Okay? Always choose the downhill option unless you have to do something where it's something good for you and you're meeting with resistance. When in the situation, when you're about to do something that's beneficial for you, for your higher good, like going to the gym, eating healthy versus eating a burger, or
going for a yoga class,
doing a breath work, or going for a yoga class
going
versus lying on the couch, or going for a walk.
Yes.
Whenever there's resistance to something that's good for you, the opposite rule applies.
Yes.
Okay. So this higher self 5D operating system, it works when you always choose the highest timeline. And that's how you discern whether you're getting in your comfort zone or whether you're meeting ego resistance or you're going with the flow. So if I'm deciding between going to the gym or not, I'm always going to pick going to the gym because my higher self, it may not be true for you. My higher self operating system always tells me that when my body is aligned, when I go to the gym and I feel strong and I pump my body full of oxygen, I feel like more in command when I come home and I start working. I feel more present in my body. All aspects, my mind works more clear. All aspects of my life are feeling more aligned and I can make better decisions. So when I'm choosing between ego resistance and the gym, I'm always going to choose the gym. I'm always going to choose get off your ass and eat the superfoods. I'm always going to choose get off your ass and go for a walk. I'm always going to choose something good for me. I'm never going to allow myself to get in the comfort zone. Comfort zone is ego. So this 5D operating system, whenever you detect ego resistance, you say, nope, I'm getting out of it. So now to address Jay Dorman's...
Can you hold that? Because I want to give them another aspect of that same teaching.
Yeah, do that.
Now, this is the first level. What he said is the first level of identifying ego resistance and saying it's always good for me. But now explain to them the higher level of this operating system that we've just started accessing recently, where we choose to go for a beach day because we think going to the beach or going to the gym is better for us. But then this higher operating system comes in, and because now we're so clear, we're fully higher self. Like when I say fully as we can be right now, this higher
Meaning we
operating.
beat out resistance for most 99% of our
And
life.
because we've beat out resistance for most of our life, which was a very hard task. Oh my God, I had so much resistance to everything in life. And now it's like, it's so easy. Getting rid of resistance was my biggest jump in my ascension. But here's the thing. Sometimes we'll say, okay, what is the right thing to do? Tomorrow we have an EMS event. Today we have to go to the beach. We have to clear ourselves. We have to have a beach day. We have to go for yoga. We have to go to the gym. We have to raise our vibration. And the higher intelligence says, nope, it's too emotionally volatile on the beach. You guys just stay home, do nothing, just meditate. Now, how do they discern that? I feel like they have to first beat out resistance.
First step number one is identify ego resistance in all aspects of your life. And whenever you see ego resistance, you have to wash it out, and using your willpower, using your focus, using your drive, choose the timeline that makes you feel better and makes you operate from a higher level. Okay? So always choose what's good for you. But then once you realize that, okay, now for 6 months, I've been like this athlete, I've been doing life so good, and I'm getting my shit together, and I'm taking care of all my business, and I'm handling my business, I'm handling my finances, I'm balancing my relationship, I'm like getting my work done on time, everything's flowing now, right?
Yes, I love
it's like
that.
That's what 12 chakras mean. It's like you're
Yes.
juggling 12 balls
all the
in
time.
mastery. It's not easy, but you can get there.
Yeah.
When you have your priorities straight, you will get there. And this operating system is all about priorities. Sometimes making a YouTube video is a higher priority than going to the
Like
gym.
today.
So
Right?
you always have to realize, today my priority is this. And once you know your priorities, then you can weigh, oh, today I'll forego going for yoga because making a YouTube video or jumping on a business call is my higher priority.
Yes.
Because every single day you're not sitting in resistance. You're doing something that's good for yourself.
Yes.
And one day some days of the week we wake up and we've worked our asses off all like the past 3 days.
Like today.
And we've worked so much that we feel like, okay, we got a lot of shit done. Today, our highest priority is to lie on the couch.
Yeah, and do nothing.
That then becomes part of our operating system.
Yes.
Because once you beat out resistance, then you know with clarity what's good for you.
Yes.
And sometimes that's just lying down and doing nothing.
Yes. I love how
So it's not like you're always on. It's more like you know your priorities. And resting and balancing is equally prioritized as doing things. It's almost like actually it's a 50-50 balance between doing active masculine yang things and doing yin things. When those yin and yang are in balance, then the whole operating system is flowing like very smooth.
And guys, read out the other question.
And Jay Doman asked, it's hard to wrap my head around going with the flow because as a man, we've been programmed, we need to go through adversity and challenges to make us stronger. So this is a very common theme amongst the masculine, that we feel like we need to always be doing, and I do this all the time, guys. Like sometimes I'm so silly, like just to challenge myself, I'll make my backpack more heavy because I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna carry more weight and build more muscles, and I just stuff my backpack with something. Yeah. Oh God. And now since my back started hurting, I'm like, oh, I'm not doing that anymore. What the fuck am I doing that? So we as men sometimes take more burden than is necessary just to prove to ourselves that we need to go through adversity to become stronger. But that is a limiting belief, my friends. If you want to believe that you need adversity, then guess what? You will get more adversity. But do you really need adversity, or do you really need to be in flow and get shit done? I choose being in flow and getting things done. And to me, like I brought up the example of my AC not working in the car. I went to this mechanic. He just looked at me like he was speaking Spanish, giving me like a confused look. And then I had to go to another mechanic, and I was feeling so much like resistance. So I was not in resistance in that scenario. I was actively working towards getting my car fixed, but I was meeting dead ends.
Yes.
When I meet dead ends, that's when I know it's not the time and I need to chill out.
Yes.
And then the universe will give me a green light and say, today go to this mechanic and it'll be done in 2 hours, right? That's how you decipher it. You have to be fully in the flow.
And also, this AC thing is not such a big deal. Like, if it was a high priority, it would open up. But the guidance was, you're going to go spend 2 hours in a mechanic, and right now your projects are so
Exactly.
needing your time. AC is fine. It's just a vent that's not working. They're like, open the back vent. So now
Yeah.
we're working in such mastery, you guys. We're not wasting any time.
Yeah.
We're navigating from a super intelligence that is beyond anything we've ever experienced. And that brings me to my last tip that I have so far. Let's see if other tips channel through us. The last tip is about enlightenment. Enlightenment. So right now, Saman and I are in our initiations. What we're experiencing right now is this frequency where we feel like we have raised our frequency dramatically and exponentially in the last 4 years specifically. And right now, we're at the highest we've ever been. And when we go out on planet Earth, when we go out and about, we are always met with a frequency that is not as high as our frequency. And many of you are experiencing this in your own niches. And I have a very powerful golden nugget to share with you. In the past, what would happen is that, let's say we are of this frequency, we have Christ consciousness really emanating through us. It's a very tangible frequency that we feel around us. It's a very you know what I mean? It's like a very tangible frequency that we didn't have in the past, that we can feel around us very tangibly now. When we go out, let's say you meet someone who is a nice person, but they have a little bit of lower frequencies. Like, let's say they have envy, or they have whatever the lower, or let's say somebody has greed.
Or gossip.
Let's say someone's gossiping. Let's say someone is controlling. Like, hey, why did you do this? Or let's say someone's controlling. The past version of us, this is so freaking important. I've never shared this before on YouTube. It's like a breakthrough many of you will have. The past version of us would not even realize it. Like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, what would happen was immediately a block would go up. It's a block. It's almost like this fail-safe mechanism. It's like this thing. It's called a trigger, by the way. A lock goes off, like a fail-safe, saying, not safe. They're not in their integrity, they're cheating. And I'm giving you guys literally a download, a transmission of what unconditional love means, but it's also what enlightenment is.
And this is a very subtle lesson, so pay attention.
So basically now, okay, let me explain in another way while I go into this example. Enlightenment does not mean that the people around you change. Ascension right now does not mean that you're just in this 5D new earth and everybody around you is different. What Saman and I are realizing in our own ascension is that the more we ascend, the more humble we become, and the easier it is for us to be around people regardless of what spectrum they are occupying in the ascension ladder. The past version of us required people to be in their integrity, people to be honest, we had lots of expectations. They had to have high frequency. They had to not be greedy. Like we would not even associate with anyone who was of a lower vibration in our mind. Okay. Now, as we are ascending higher into consciousness, in our own consciousness, we're accessing what we have been shown is we're peeking into this concept called enlightenment. And you know what enlightenment is? And we're practicing this right now. It's in our field, in our awareness right now. It's becoming very easy. It's just how we are now. It is 100% complete awareness without attaching any labels to people saying she's in envy, but having the compassion to see through the person's soul and recognizing that this person longs perhaps what she sees in us or someone else, not labeling someone as disgusting because they are cheats and they're not high in their integrity, but having compassion, saying it's okay, understanding where everybody is and not putting up blocks of separation, saying, no, she's not safe, she's not safe, she's not safe, she's not safe. No, we're saying we're just who we are. And this is the highest state we've ever reached, where we can just be around anybody, any spectrum of the ascension ladder. And guys, you know how it feels? It feels like we're free. We're not giving away our power to people anymore, in a way. Why? Because in the past, we required people around us to be a certain frequency to be able to even tolerate their presence around us. And if they were a lower frequency, we'd be like, oh, fuck that, we're out of here. We were energy snobs like you wouldn't believe. And we thought that was the right thing to do. And it was. It served us well. It kept us away from all these. But you know what the higher frequency is? Not judging the lower frequencies, not attaching stories or labels to the lower frequencies and saying we're a melting pot of all frequencies on this planet. There's no judgment towards this or towards that. And because we let go of judgment, because we let go of separation, now what's happening is our world is opening up and the new earth doors are opening up for us in front of our very eyes. Because now we can mix with the hippies who are broke as fuck. We can mix with the CEOs who are like multimillionaires. We can meet with anyone based on where you are vibrating. And we have no expectation from anyone to be a certain way for us to feel like we can be around you. Do you see how subtle that is, how freeing that is? And that is the highest state we've ever reached. It's like we're not slaves to other people saying you need to be a certain way so we feel good around you, otherwise you need to be away. You know what I mean? You guys got that?
Yeah.
And it is just the most priceless thing we've ever experienced.
Yeah, I wanted to quickly explain that in a
Yes,
different way
please
because this
do.
is such a deep concept and it's
Yes.
very important.
Yeah.
So when we begin to go through a spiritual awakening, suddenly our psychic abilities come online and we become more empathic. We begin to feel other people's frequencies and we can discern where they are. And people's envy, judgments, or negativity, whatever they're feeling, they think that we are not aware of it. But because spiritual awakening makes your psychic senses so much more keen and so much more sensitive, you feel everything.
Everything.
You feel everything. So this is the state where you're in the fourth dimension. When you're asleep, you're in the third dimension. When you become spiritually aware, you enter the fourth dimension, which means your chakras are beginning to open up. You feel everyone's frequency. You go to a crowded mall, you sometimes feel overwhelmed because you can feel the emotions of people around you. And this is all very common and this is all very normal. But what also happens is that in that state, and we went through this, everyone goes through this to some varying degree, but you sometimes feel a little bit like a victim. You feel like, oh my God, like, why is that person throwing envy at me? Why is that person judging me for the way I speak? Or you sense so many things and then you start getting in the story and you start attaching labels to people based on their behaviors. And you sense their judgments, but at the same time, you're judging them back.
Yes. Yes.
So you feel people are judging you, but by feeling that and saying, oh, how dare they judge me, you're also judging them, even though you may label yours as more like, oh, it's happening to me, but
Yeah.
it's kind of reciprocated.
Yeah.
Because we're still operating, we have our psychic senses open in the fourth dimension, but we're still operating from the ego partially. We
Yes.
still haven't merged with our higher self.
Yes.
Now, what happens is when we go beyond the ego, once we learn all the lessons of the ego, once we learn how to not generate karma by judging others, what happens is eventually you go into this fifth dimension consciousness where you just absolve yourself of all judgments. You fully let go of all expectations and you just begin to see everyone as a different aspect of you. 5D consciousness is all about unity consciousness. And you can only access 5D when you realize that there's no separation between you and I. We are exactly the same source. We are prime creator. We are spirit, just occupying different bodies with the illusion of space-time. But in the higher dimension, we're one light, we're one heart, we're one source. And then how can you judge someone who's judging you? Because when I see someone judging me right now, I see an older version of me whom I have compassion for. And I'm like, all I see is, wow, I've been there, man. Like, I know what that must be like. And I don't feel hurt by the judgments and envy anymore. I just say, and I don't give them a lecture. I don't correct them. I just observe. So in 5D, like Eldora was mentioning, you become this observer. You just become the loving eyes of the observer. Yeah. You just become love. You just become compassion, and you see everyone with forgiveness. And you say, you know what? You may not say this with words, but you say this with your presence. You say, I see you. I see where you are. I see that you're going through a lot of pain and suffering, which is making you behave in ways that do not feel divine. But at the same time, I hold compassion for that, because whatever I'm experiencing, I've done that to others.
Yes.
And that is the biggest download. Whatever's happening to you, you've done that to someone else.
Yes.
So my biggest breakthrough in this ascension was I have no right to judge anyone because I've done that to someone else. And then you just become love.
Okay. Now there's one part that I want to add, one extra layer I want to add to this teaching. This teaching does not mean you become boundaryless pussies. Excuse my French. You still need to have your boundaries. So what is not acceptable is someone bashing you, putting you down, like abusing you verbally, emotionally, sexually, whatever. It's not like, oh, it's far from it. When you're vibrating in 5D, you don't need boundaries. You know why? That's the best part. You don't need boundaries. Your aura emanates a certain mastery where others around you adjust their behavior, that you don't have to keep screaming, don't talk to me like this, don't talk to me like this. You don't need that anymore. Your energy becomes an energy force field.
Yes.
That you don't need boundaries.
You bring out a different version of people when you're emitting this Christed frequency.
And they can feel it. And because they can feel it, they also know it's their shit. They know that when they look at you, your field is clear. Like when they look at us, they can see our field is clear. They know it's them. So by the time we see them next time, already we've all upshifted into a newer frequency because we're just holding unconditional love. And in unconditional love, everything melts. Unconditional love is the highest frequency on the planet. It's what Yeshua emanated. It's what all the masters like Buddha, Metatron, Melchizedek, whoever you work with, all the masters who've ascended, they have this frequency called unconditional love. It's not normal love. Like, these birth mothers and our birth families, they think they love, but it's just normal love. They don't have access to what we call unconditional love, which is being a pure witness and allowing the other soul to go through whatever they need to go through without trying to control it, saying, if you love me, you will do law. If you love me, you will get married. No. That's not love. That's the opposite of love. So we're finding that this 5D operating system has made our life so freaking easy, you guys. And we wanted to give you guys this transmission. Hope this helps you a lot. I would highly recommend you rewatch this video in a few months, maybe in a month, because it's every time you watch it, you're going to get a new layer of it based on where you are vibrating then. Don't forget to hit the like button, because when you hit the like button and when you comment and when you chat like this, which we love, our algorithms go up and more people see it. So always please set yourself that energetic exchange. And this is another code I'm giving you. Energy works with energy exchange. So when you receive something, I'm giving you a tip. I'm not even saying it because of this video. When you receive something, how badly do you want to reciprocate back? That's 5D. When you receive something, we're giving you a transmission. How much are you aching to reciprocate that? That's going to show you your access to 5D or not. Like if someone does the slightest thing for us, we cannot wait to reciprocate. Like that's the first thing we want to do. So reciprocate by hitting the like button. And this is not just for us. Any channel that you resonate with, anybody who's doing good work, share.
Cast your vote.
Cast your freaking vote.
Every single vote counts because it's shifting the timelines. And right now, light workers need to speak with their frequency.
Yes. And enact their frequency, embody their frequency. Not like I was telling my team the other day, I'm like, I don't see you guys on our social media. Like, where are your comments? Like, where's your excitement? And why was I telling them that? Because they're Ascension students. I teach them stuff that, and they're like, my goodness, most light workers have a block in their throat. And I'm telling you, unleash yourself. Because the more you cast your vote, the more you learn how energy works. And when you receive something, you respond, you reciprocate, you share. Watch how your abundance explodes. And this is another final tip. Your abundance will explode. The more you share, the more comes back to you. We love you guys so much. Thank you so much for all of your love and all of your hearts. Take care, my friends. Until next time.
See you guys soon.